we are continuing with types of prototypes, and this is sort of a comparison, right? Physical and analytical on one side, comprehensive and focused prototypes on the other side. This versus that, right? Exhibit 5, this exhibit displays a plot with axes corresponding to 2 dimensions, right? Physical, analytical, focused, comprehensive. Several different prototypes from the PackBot are shown on this plot. Okay, so this is the PackBot. You know, this is the PackBot. But we are doing this comparison. So, types of prototypes. Prototypes are classified according to the degree to which they are physical and the degree to which they implement all the attributes of the product. So, as we said, this axis, analytical means, right, it is in the form of an equation or a figure and so on, you know, analytical. And physical means it is physically there. So if you go towards this side, it is more mathematical or geometrical or drawing only. If you go towards this side, this is more physical, it actually looks like it and so on. So this is this axis. And this axis, focused, only one attribute, only 2 attribute, comprehensive, completely, it covers all the attributes. So now, right, so now you can see that there are different types, right? Full dynamic simulation. So you use any technique like finite elements or something, and you have made physical models, computer models and so on, and you are simulating everything. You are showing that how the product is there and so on. So this is complete towards the analytical side, right? User interface hardware linked to the dynamic simulation. So now, right, user interface hardware. So you are going towards there, right? You are going towards there, but it is linked to dynamic simulation, right? And here, not generally feasible. If it is only here, it does not go towards physical. It cannot go towards there. So what they are saying is that, you see, if you are down here, then you are very close to complete analytical. So if it is complete analytical, then comprehensive, that it shows you everything, it is not possible, right? It is generally not feasible. If it is simulation, then it can show you a lot of things that are there in your prototype, but it cannot show you comprehensive everything, right? Then full scale foam model. So it is a foam model. It almost shows you everything physically, but it is foam. It is not the real material. So it is not like analytical, it is more physical, right? But it is not comprehensive. It is a foam model, so it cannot work like the real one. It cannot be tested like the real one and so on. Test bed with new software on old model. So you have created a prototype for testing, right? But you have just improved new software. The model is the old one. You have fitted it with new, so you are going more towards there, right? And then prototypes, system level drop test, alpha prototype for system integration, beta prototype for field testing. So now you are going very physical, and you are going from a small level testing to big level testing to lots of testing. So you are going towards comprehensive, right? On this side, more focused, right? More focused. So color rendering, 3D CAD model, beam bending equations of wheel spoke geometry, finite element analysis of heat dissipation, math model of motor performance. You see, these guys, the PackBot actually did these type of things. So these, all of these are focused, right? They are not comprehensive. They are focused, only doing only for color, only for 3D CAD, only for this, only for this. And these are at least color rendered and so on. These are more mathematical. And then if you go here, that focused but physical. This is focused but computer based. This is focused and physical. So gripper geometry, pad coating pull test, wheel impact test. So these are very focused. You are focusing on only the wheel, only the gripper. So they are focused, but they are fully physical, right? So therefore, a comparison of physical against analytical and focused against comprehensive, and your prototype that you are making can be anywhere here. So this is a very, very, very good slide to show you that prototyping does not mean make one prototype at the end. Prototyping means that from the concept stage to the detailed design stage to later stages of product development, you can make different types of prototypes. Some very simple, some more complex, some only on the simulation and mathematics, some in the physical form, some using very simple mold materials like foam and polymers and so on, some using higher level materials, some using the real material of everything, right? So you can do different levels of prototyping as you go with the product development of different stages. We are still under types of prototypes, and we are now discussing a little. Focused prototypes can be either physical or analytical, but that for tangible manufactured products, fully comprehensive prototypes must be physical, right? So focused prototypes, as we just showed you earlier, can be both physical or analytical. But if you want the customer, you see tangible, the word tangible, that the customer can relate to it and feel it, then they should be more fully comprehensible and so on. Prototypes contain a combination of analytical and physical elements. For example, control hardware includes user interface for the backbot, and this could be linked to software simulation of the backbot dynamic, right? So it can be a combination. Some analytical prototypes can be viewed as being more physical. They are analytical, but they can be more physical sort of. For example, video animation of the backbot's dynamic balance based on simulation of the physical interactions of its components is in one sense more physical than a set of equations approximating the overall balance of the same mechanism. Do you understand? You see, we are talking of something, right? Something, and we are talking of some mechanism in terms of equations only. Now, this can be understood by the designers to some extent, but very difficult for the customer to feel something. But based on the equations that you are using, if you create a video animation in terms of simulation, that if you interact like this, then this will happen. If you interact like this, then this will happen. Now, these video animations are more physical sort of. They are still simulation, but they give you a physical sense. Oh, that if this is changed, then this will happen. If this is changed, then this will happen. So we are just saying that even though it is a simulation, but because now it is a simulation, it is sort of a video animation, then it gives more physical sense rather than complete analytical. So this is just one way to explain what we just explained on the previous slide. Uses of prototypes, right? We have already described, but now a little more. One use of the prototype is to learn about the product, answering questions about the performance, about the feasibility. Will it work? How well does it meet the customer needs? Right? Learning about the product. For example, prototype of the wheels is built and tested for shock absorption, for a strength, right? So exhibit 6 is this. So it is, right? We are not prototyping the whole product. We are just building the wheel, but we are actually testing it. So this is telling us whether it will work. So this is learning prototype. Communication prototype. Communication. Enrich the communication with the top management, with customers, with vendors, sellers, with partners, with investors, and so on. So a rough physical prototype shown in exhibit 3A before was used to communicate to early customers the physical size of the backbot and the range of mobility of its camera support and so on, right? So rough physical prototype was an example of communication type. As I said, you can communicate within the design team members. You could communicate with the customers and so on. So, right. So one use of the prototype is learning. The other use is communication. The third use is integration. You have used the word integration, right? You are doing different activities. You want to integrate them together. Ensure that components of the product work together as expected, right? Wheel is one component, but can you integrate it with the body, with the chassis, and it will still work, right? So comprehensive physical prototypes are most effective as integration tools, right? Integration means if you want to integrate all the parts, all the sub-assemblies, then you have to go to comprehensive. But you can only make a wheel assembly, not just the wheel assembly. The wheel is linked to the axle, the wheel is linked to the chassis, the wheel is linked to the container where the wheel will be, so it can depend, right? Product development projects, because they require the assembly and physical interconnection of all the parts and sub-assemblies, right? So physical prototypes are better comprehensive ones. But as I said, integration can be done. I don't know if I said it earlier, integration can be done in physical prototypes. Integration can also be checked in simulations. In simulations also sometimes we are making different parts and then we can try to assemble them on the computer. We are not assembling them physically, we are assembling them on the computer. So though physical prototypes are better for integration, but even on the simulation you can do some integration. Exhibit 7 shows alpha and beta prototypes of the robot, right? So alpha beta test models were integration type. So we are showing exhibit 6 again, exhibit 3 again. Here you can see actual testing, PACBOT, wheel prototypes and impact testing. These are the wheel prototypes and impact testing. The under impact loads, will they really work? So this is an example of a focused physical prototype used as a learning tool, right? You are learning whether this will work or not, and you are using focused prototype. This model was constructed from components using stereolithography rapid prototyping. We will see later on that this is one technique to make rapid prototypes. So assembled and painted. So this is not actual material. This is made of any other material. This could be a polymer, this could be a plastic, this could be other things. But this is actually made and painted and so on to look like the real one. So assembled and painted to represent the actual size and the actual appearance of the product. So now you can communicate with the people who funded the project, with the people who will be your customers, with other components of your company, right? So it is very good for communication and so on, right? So this we are just showing, we discussed it in the previous slide. Milestones. You know that in any engineering product there are milestones. We have completed the conceptual design, we have completed detailed design of some components, we have completed detailed design of many components, we have started assembly. So milestones are there in the design and development. So prototypes for milestones, used mainly in the later stages of the product development to demonstrate that the product has achieved a desired level of functionality. Milestone prototypes provide tangible goals, demonstrate the actual product progress, and serve to enforce the schedule that these milestones are now done. For example, a prototype must pass a qualification test and later a first article test before a contractor can proceed with production, right? So for example, first testable hardware, right? So if you want to confirm that some milestone has been achieved, concept design is now complete, so there should be some prototypes. We can now start production, so some other prototypes and so on. So these are milestone prototypes.